here at the track, too tough to tame. Looking for a 4th win in his last 5 tries here, a record anyone would be envious of. Green flag pit stops coming up as we're on the longest green run of the race so far. And speaking of green flag pit stops, remember the opening to pit road here at Darlington under green, talked about this earlier, is very, very tricky. Brad Keselowski has made the move in it with Ricky Stenhouse right behind him. Vince?
Keselowski says it's really getting tight in 3 and 4, and the right front is gone. It's a 4-tire change, going to make an air pressure adjustment on that 22 of Keselowski as well.
6 car, Ricky Stenhouse is in. The run didn't start that bad. A 2 to 3 loose all around, but on lap 81, he complained that the car was really tightening up and then said, Mike, crew chief, I don't know what's going on. So they decided to bring him in earlier rather than later. It'll be a 4-tire change for a tight race car. Doc.
Denny Hamlin said, I'm starting to get loose coming up off turn 2. Tear off. Tire air pressure change, and we're going to tighten it just a little bit. Then he said not much. Minor chassis adjustment, a little bit of air pressure, getting it topped up with Sunoco fuel. They are within their fuel window. Don't have to come back if they don't want to. Let's go to Kurt Busch. Vince.
Kurt Busch coming in said the car is just way too loose on the right side. They're going to make some significant balance changes in the car on the back side with wedge adjustments, 4 tires, and Sunoco fuel for Kurt Busch. Says the car is decent, but it's just too loose for him to do what he wants to do. Doc?
Sam Horn, he said the car has been loose. They made an adjustment. He said it is still very, very loose. 1.5 rounds of wedge in the left rear, 4 tires for Sam Hornish. Again, this should be the final scheduled stop of the day. They can come back in for tires, but they're okay on fuel. Still working to get full. Dave Burke.
And remember, Joey Logano's car has gone to the free side. He thought the track was really freeing up on him. He can't hustle the race car like he could earlier. So they will make changes for him, try to tighten it up a little bit. Adam Stevens, the crew chief, said in practice that they were very, very tight and were adjusting toward loose. They hoped they hadn't overdone it, but the track seems to have been the one who really gave him a loose race car. Jamie.
And Danica Patrick is in 4 tires. They're filling it up with fuel. She got up on the top and scared herself and said she needs it to turn just a little bit better to get down to the bottom of the track. Alan?
And cycle of pit stops about to be completed here as Brendan Gaughan, Cole Witt, Joe Nemechek dive onto the pit lane. Dave?
And Cole Witt reported most recently that the rear end of that race car is not in the track. They'll make adjustments for that. They've also been chasing something where the fuel gauge remains pegged all the time to its greatest degree. So he's been shutting the car off, trying to reset it. They plan to do a complete shut-off while he's on pit road here just to see if they can reset it. Seems to be causing a little bit of concern to Cole, but it's not really hurting the performance that much. We documented how far through the field he's come tonight.
All right, Dave, thanks. So right side of the screen, Justin Allgaier, the only one of the lead lap cars that has not come down the pit lane here. Remember that they had the long pit stop a while ago, Doc.
Indeed they did. They also now have even more problems right now. They said the car is very, very tight. The vibration they got early when they had the lug nut stuck in the left front is now back. And they're saying the voltage is dropping. It is now under 11 volts. They think they have an alternator issue. They're going to come down. They may go to the backup battery. Right now he's on the racetrack leading a lap. We'll come in about a lap and a half, guys.
All right, Doc, thanks. When Allgaier pits, it'll give the lead back to Denny Hamlin by a bunch.
Guys, I don't know how you keep track of all this up here. That is a lot of stuff happening at once.
Yeah, it is. Those green flag pit stops are crazy.
Wow, that was close.
And I thought what was interesting is there are a lot of guys getting tight, a lot of guys getting loose. It's not like the track is going one direction. It seems to be really car specific.
Just before the caution, the pit stops, we saw Ricky Stenhouse with the incident off turn number 2, and then he dropped back a bunch just before the pit stop, Dave. Ooh.
This is the right rear tire, Alan. The outside shoulder shows a lot of cording right there, but look at the air pressure. It was way down. That's why Ricky was having trouble on the racetrack.
Yeah, that was a long run, and we've seen that.
That'll be added to his Christmas bonus from Jack for getting his money's worth out of that tire. I mean, if you can drive the rubber off it and the air out of it, you're doing something.
That's one thing they expected to get better, and I think it has. They've gone a lot more laps than they could in practice, but that might be a concern tomorrow. Track as it wears, as it ages, does wear these tires more and more. Here comes Travis Pastrana, Jamie.
Just the second Nationwide Series start. Travis said his biggest fear, a green flag pit stop. Remember, he got busted for speeding last time at Richmond. They need to free him up. He just cannot control the car, saying it's pushing, won't turn. 4 tires, track bar adjustment, fill it up with Sunoco fuel. He's down and away. Nice job.
Yeah, he did a really good job on that pit stop. That's one of the things in NASCAR people don't talk about enough. It's you're not used to, as a driver, coming and doing these pit stops until you get to this level of the sport. It's something that's hard to practice for.
Especially here. This is one of the trickiest pit roads to get on.
You can drive down there into turn 3, and the pit road, we talked about all that pavement being so wide. The pit road seems like 150 feet from the outside wall.
So there is Allgaier. Not yet made his pit stop. Out there lumbering around.
Praying for a caution.
Yep. 2 seconds a lap slower than Denny Hamlin, the second place car. 18 is some 6 seconds ahead of what will be his nearest rival once Allgaier pits. And that is Kurt Busch.
Kurt was battling the loose condition. Didn't they put a round in the right rear?
I think they said they put wedge in it and backed off the right rear screw. They're thinking maybe it would just lower the car a little too much and actually made it looser. Had the opposite effect of what they intended.
So I think they're trying to put the back of the car up in the air and tighten up the race car with the aero.
Next in line behind Kurt Busch is Joey Logano. Another second back. And there goes your change for the lead. So Denny Hamlin now back out in front with 45 laps to go. And appearing to be solidly in command. But then this is Darlington. You just never know what's going to happen in the closing laps.
Race here at Darlington. When you last saw us, it was the 31 of Justin Allgaier out front, but that is your new leader, Denny Hamlin, because Allgaier did make a stop. So if you are just joining us, here's a quick recap, the Ram race rundown of what we have seen so far. Lap 2. It started with disappointment for Ryan Blaney after such promise at Richmond. Into the wall, very
Oh, he looked so good in practice and stuff. Got to all of it in practice and crashed again now. But I'll tell you what, the kid was so upset, tore up, because he had such a good run a couple weeks ago at Richmond, Virginia. He didn't want this to happen. Everybody feels sorry for him. He took responsibility, and that's racing, man.
X Games megastar Travis Pastrana in the field for his second nationwide start tonight.
Yeah, he's been back there with a group of guys all evening, and they've just kind of been mired around one another. Got into a little bit, but he straightened it out and running better.
Woo! Now, what about this restart? Kurt Busch, well, he threaded the needle, took off, and just made a perfect restart. Look at his brother, like, holy smokes, look at that. Then he got real loose, and Denny Hamlin passed him and just checked out. So they've been working on the number 54 car throughout the night, trying to tighten the car up to try to get a competitor for late in this race.
Denny Hamlin currently 78 laps out front tonight. What did Alan call him? Denny the Darlington
Denny the Dominator.
One of the storylines we talked about heading into this race, tire wear. This track can eat it up. I want you to listen to something that happened just a few minutes ago on Brad Keselowski's radio.
Tires look good, just used. No cords whatsoever, just so you know. No cords whatsoever. What tire was worn there, Jeremy? Your right front's used up. Again, no cords, it was just used up.
Rusty, what does all that mean?
Well, right now, he just wanted to know what's going on with this car. We got 35 laps to go, and they gave him some confidence that that tire's okay. Yeah. So as a driver, you know, you can hammer down, get after it, and not have to save that tire.
That's exactly right, Rusty. And you know, you're always concerned about a right front tire. All right, and it's cooled off. Got a lot of grip in this racetrack. So now he knows he can go out and lean on this race car, get a little more out of it.
He can lean on it, but can he lean on it enough to beat that Darlington Dominator?
All we need is a yellow flag.
You cannot say that 3 times fast, Amy.
Don't try this at home. We're trained professionals. All right, Nicole. Rusty, Brad, thanks. 34 laps to go. Up with Carl Edwards and Andy Petrie in our broadcast booth, watching Austin Dillon solidly run inside the top 10. 6th place for Dillon. Another nice job night for him.
Yeah, it's a great run for him. And I do think the story right now are those tires. You know, the drivers know how hard they're using the tires. They know where they're running on the racetrack. If they're running the gray stuff, they know it's wearing the tires out a little bit more. And all those crew chiefs know that those tires are wearing out. They saw Stenhouse's tire. They're familiar. And so, you know, guys out there right now are thinking, am I running too hard? Do I want to save a little something?
Now, this is a couple laps ago with Dillon and Brad Keselowski for the 5th position with a lap car of Jason Bowles.
Maybe he's not being too easy on his tires. Yeah, still, they did a great job. That corner is so narrow. As you're driving around this corner, the car's sliding. You're doing everything you can to get on the gas. And you go, oh, man, we're 3 wide.
3 wide.
Your spotter reminds you you're 3 wide. I think he knew he was 3 wide, but
hang on to her.
It's still tough.
You're clear all around. Clear all around.
Hey, Dave, what do you got down there?
Well, just the fact that Elliott Sadler really helped this young driver get around this place, especially off of turn 2. But they've been having to work on the race car because it was very tight at the start. Then it went free on him. They made a couple of adjustments. And now with a good handling race car and lots of advice from a teammate, he's doing well.
And again, going to regroup and try and retake that spot from Brad Keselowski. That would be 5th place.
He was the fastest car on the racetrack last lap.
Now, earlier we saw Ricky Stenhouse Jr., the championship leader, have a moment off of turn number 2, and then we saw the tire wear issues on the 6th car, and Stenhouse is back in 8th place. Well, his rival for the championship, Elliott Sadler, is running up in 4th position now in the 2 car.
We'll have trash, grill, getting hot. Looks fine to me. We'll look again. We'll be lucky to make it 262.80 right now.
262.80 on that 2 car.
Yeah, that's a little hot. I'll tell you one thing that happens at this track when it starts wearing tires like that is all of that rubber gets plugged in the radiators, and you can you'll have these cars running hot at the end of the race. We used to have a problem with this all the time here.
My first truck race here, we had to pull off. We burned up the engine because of that rubber. Elliott's a veteran, though. You heard what he said. He's thinking about the big picture right now. He's thinking, man, I got a great run. I can come out here with the points lead. You know, let's try to fix this thing. Let's try to pull some tape, make sure we clean the grill. He's doing the right thing by talking to his crew chief about it.
What has been a very closely contested run for the championship. And yes, I know it's still early in the season, but the way it's started and the way it's gone, it's been back and forth between these two. Close, close, close. Now Stenhouse in the last month has gone from behind to ahead. And the one race he starts with the championship lead, he's running behind Sadler. And we'll see how it plays out. It's going to be a fun championship all the way through Homestead in November. DirecTV. One end wider than the other. Tough old Darlington being mastered tonight by Denny Hamlin. That for 2nd place. Joey Logano has just passed Kurt Busch. Joe Gibbs Racing. Oh, Kurt hit the wall hard.
Yeah, it's right side, right side.
Right front's down.
Yellow's out, yellow's out, yellow's out.
We're gonna have to see a replay of that. I don't know if he got tight or if he blew the right front. This is, guys, this is huge. This erases Denny Hamlin's lead. All the drivers, this is what they wanted. Everybody but Denny Hamlin. Now they're going to get a caution and one of those wild restarts to finish this race.
Yeah, in less than 20 to go.
Kurt Busch running 2nd, giving up that spot to Joey Logano, and as he was giving it up, a shower of sparks as the car contacted the wall, exiting turn 4.
You hear Mike Beam talking to him. It'd be hard. It'd be interesting to see how much is torn up or bent. If the right front tire went before he hit the wall, it might not be as bad as it looks.
Yeah, blue. Yeah. You can see it right there. The tire went down. You can actually see the air coming out of it.
A second later, and that would have worked out fine for him. That was That's really frustrating for Kurt. He's had a really good race all night.
They never let go at the right place.
Yeah, I've noticed that. You're right about that.
Coming inside.
Richard Petty always said
right side.
about running the high line. If something goes wrong, it's less to travel to go to hit.
I wonder if he felt that coming. I wonder if he knew that it was going to blow. A lot of times you can feel a little something. Kurt's a veteran. He's probably taking it easy on it.
So work there on the 54 car. While he is going to leave pit road, the pit lane is open for the lead lap cars, and Denny Hamlin leads the charge in. These stops are going to be with just 19 laps to go, Vince.
Well, for Elliott Sadler, the car's just been too loose throughout the course of this night. That's what they've been fighting. You see Elliott upper left-hand portion of your screen. It says right now the car is lacking grip in the center. They're going to make a 4-tire change. Also air pressure for Elliott Sadler. Doc.
Denny Hamlin says, you got to tighten me up. I want at least around a wedge. You're going to go ahead and put 4 tires. They said, how about a splash of fuel? Denny said, no, fill it up. If you put a splash, it'll change the balance of the car. Fill it full of fuel, but they're not going to wait on it. Dave.
4th place, Dylan, upper right. Don't change my balance either. Just give me a little bit something for the short run. Meanwhile, Joey Logano says it takes 20 laps for the rear to come in. It's a very loose race car. Air pressure adjustment for Logano. Who wins the race off pit road, Alan?
The team that played the strategy, Dave. Right sides only for Elliott Sadler. And he will go to the top of the leaderboard. Luke Lambert rolling the dice there a little bit.
He's not scared.
Guys, this is going to be exciting. This is going to be a good one to watch. Elliott, look at his eyes. He's ready to race.
Dish Network claims.
What was the decision there?
Well, I mean, obviously, one main Chevy's been running good all night, so we felt like we could put ourselves in a position to get a really good finish right here. We'll see how it plays out.
Got a sly smile on his face, AB.
What do you think?
I'm not sure. I don't know if I like this call or not. I don't know what these left side tires look like. If I had, the chance to look at them, it might change my decision here. But I think he's going to get passed by 4 or 5 cars here.
And if some of these guys get really aggressive, I mean, they're hoping for maybe another caution or two, and they're hoping for that 3 or 4 lap sprint to the finish, and maybe Elliott can stay out in front of Ricky Stenhouse.
Well, they're adding another lap now to this caution, so that's going to make it less, down to 16 laps to go. Like you said, Carl, that might be the only saving grace if you can get a couple of short runs here.
Reason for the added lap on the caution, they had a dozen cars take a wave around, 6 of them to get back on the lead lap. Need to position them properly in the restart order, plus Kurt Busch, by pitting too soon to get those repairs before the pit lane was open, has to be positioned to the back of the field, the penalty cars at the end of the line. Cars that get back on the lead lap with the wave around: James Buescher, Joe Nemechek, Danica Patrick, Michael Annett, Mike Bliss, and Justin Allgaier. What about that 18, Doc? Any worries in their pit?
Well, let's ask Matt Lucas. Your driver said you wanted to tighten me. He's been awfully good all night. He said, you got to tighten me up. Are you concerned?
Not really. I mean, we're concerned that we want to finish this off, but I think we made the right adjustments for Denny, and we'll see what we can do. It's in his hands now.
All right, it's in his hands. 1 round of wedge and 17 laps to go, guys.
Well, Matt's so cool. He's got his sunglasses still up there on his head. It's been dark for an hour or 2.
He probably hadn't had time to take them off. He's been so busy.
He won't lose them that way.
He's a great guy. He was an engineer for our team for a long time. Real smart crew chief. He's got the 4 tires. Denny's got the outside lane. I think, like Andy said, Denny's going to drive away. Elliott can maybe hold on. Depends on how important the left side tires are.
Yeah, Matt also reminded me about the time you hit the wall when you were on the pole.
Yeah.
I think
he was probably as frustrated as I was.
So 18 cars on the lead lap, 15 laps to go. Elliott Sadler, only fresh right side tires on the pit stop. Denny Hamlin, the dominator of the race, has led most of the night so far. Watch Joey Logano in that yellow 20 as well. He's got another shot at the lead. Here we go. Sadler gets clear. Logano to second. Hamlin back to third.
Hamlin in third. Right now, he is white knuckle. He's saying, I'm getting these guys. I've led this whole race. This is my race to win. So my eyes are on Denny Hamlin right now. Sadler's doing a heck of a job. We got a smoker down the back straightaway.
08 car Matt Fromm is headed to the apron.
Green flag still out. center of the corner right now with those 2 tires.
I'll tell you, I'm impressed at just how well those 2 tires are working. I had no idea they'd work that good.
Keselowski, Hornish, Stenhouse Jr., 6th, 7th, and 8th there with Casey Kane in that mix.
Now on that restart, Logano started right behind Sadler and went ahead and pushed him right past Denny Hamlin. These guys are racing hard back here, though. He might get that caution.
And while we watch this, I'm thinking about that lead trio and how Denny Hamlin's car has been the better long-run car all night. Is 15 laps enough for him to get back to the point? Here he goes for second on Logano.
Yeah, Logano had to squeeze out of the throttle off turn 2, and there goes the 18.
And Logano's not going to give it to him easy right here. I don't know if Denny can clear him off this corner or not. Man, it's close.
12 to go. Hamlin back to second.
Now Sadler knows Denny Hamlin's got a fast race car. He also knows that Ricky Stenhouse is way back there. This is his chance, so it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how aggressive Sadler is when Denny starts to pressure him.
It's a championship, yes, but it's also a win at Darlington.
Yes, it's huge.
Yeah, there's still 11 laps to go, though. Long way.
Here comes Hamlin with a look. I think what Sadler wants to see now is another caution flag.
Yes, he does. Yeah, both of these race cars are very clean. These are smart racers. Like you said, though, Sadler wants to win this thing more than anything. He's going to hold off Denny as long as he can. And if Denny does get by him, he'll go straight into points mode. He'll think, how can I finish this race the best I can?
Caution.
Oh, that's exactly what Elliott needed.
Brendan Gaughan has gotten into the wall.
Oh, Luke Lambert's looking pretty smart right now.
He's looking real smart.
Right,
I didn't think that would work.
Yep. All right, guys, 4 tires.
That was the other car that took 2 tires on the last caution play.
Now I guess Sadler will start in front of Logano again because he'll want that same push, but man, that's going to frustrate the heck out of Denny.
There's not going to be many laps to go. It's 10 to go now.
What did our statistician say? 7 laps to go.
I think that's what the average was. Looks like he's going to be right again.
What's the average for tomorrow? Can you help us with our pit strategy there?
I got my best guy on it. Ow. Turn 3 there for
he had a right front go down.
So what you've seen so far out of that 2-tire call, what do you think, Carl?
I think it looks pretty good. You had me convinced it was a bad call, but it's a good call. Now, I don't know if he got tires last time, if he just wore through that right front. And,
no, he did. He got 2 right sides. There were 2 cars that took 2, and he was one of them, and Elliott's the other.
I wonder why he had trouble with that tire.
Interesting thing, just not that they're going to be factors up front for the finish, but all those wave around cars that didn't take tires on the last pit stop.
They can now.
They can now for the final sprint with the checkers. 9 to go. How's it going to turn out at Darlington? Well, don't leave now.
Oh, it's going to be good. It's going to be crazy.
That we've seen the last 2 weeks. A couple of races ago, Richmond, Denny Hamlin 18, Kurt Busch 54. By that much, Kurt Busch got the win. 62 thousandths of a second. Well, next race out was Talladega. And they came to the finish. 18 Joey Logano, 54 Kyle Busch. 18 wins by that much. If my math is correct, and I've carried the one, Andy, the last 2 weeks, the total margin of victory in the Nationwide Series is less than 1/10 of a second.
Pretty good finishes. Both of those were. I'll tell you, that finish at Richmond is about the best one I've ever seen there.
It was spectacular. I jumped off the couch. My wife hit me because I was being so loud. I was waking the kids up.
Well, you might be jumping up in a minute here.
Yeah, this is going to be exciting.
So on the last restart, Elliott Sadler had Denny Hamlin's teammate Joey Logano by him and maybe helped kind of push him by and clear of the 18. This on Denny's radio a minute ago.
Here with the 20, man. Tell him, if he cut me a break, I'd really appreciate it. Yeah, 10-4. I'm already working on it.
And you see Denny looking up there at the scoreboard, thinking about how this is all going to play out. I don't think Joey, if I were Joey, I would do the same thing I did before, because the 18 is the fastest car. He wants to get by Denny, and then he wants to have a shot at the 2 car of Elliott Sadler. So I don't see Joey cutting him any slack, honestly.
Well, if he wanted, if he could actually start on the inside. No, he couldn't. I can see he's taking the inside. Denny doesn't have that choice this time.
Exactly.
Nope.
Yeah, Denny. We've been so used to him leading this whole race. 5 wins in the last 6 races by Joe Gibbs Racing.
And their cars are 2nd and 3rd on this restart. Richard Childress Racing, on the other hand, has never won a nationwide race at Darlington.
Really?
Elliott Sadler in the deuce.
Now, remember when Joey and Denny were worrying about each other earlier in the race, Kurt got by. So if they're worried about how they're racing each other, if they go down into turn 1 and they're thinking of each other as teammates, it's an opportunity for someone else like Elliott Sadler to take advantage of that and drive away.
I think Luke Lambert's looking pretty smart right now. That was a move that I didn't think would work. It looks like it's going to have a good shot at working here.
Yeah, we won't tell him what you said about him off the air.
Yeah, don't tell him.
So here they come. Doubled up for the restart. Timmy Hill, free pass on that caution. He's in 18th place, last on the lead lap.
So it'll be 5 to go?
5 laps to go as they take the green. Who's going to win it? And have we seen the last of the yellow flag? Oh, no! Logano pushes Sadler around into the wall.
Sadler spun his tires a little bit. Logano was trying to push him through, and he got him crossed up.
I didn't see that coming.
I did not either.
And from the championship lead and the race lead to a very damaged race car in a blink.
Elliott actually got a good start. He got out on Denny just a little bit. I thought he had done a pretty good job with it.
We'll have to watch the replay. It looked like Elliott might have spun the tires a little bit. He had more laps on his left side tires. If they can get that thing beat out and get fenders off of it, if it's not leaking, I guess he'd still have a chance to finish in the top 15 or something.
Casey Kane, some more bad luck.
Collected in the jam.
Man.
And Hamlin with some damage.
Yeah,
there.
he's got some pretty good damage on that right front. I don't think that's going to hurt him too much.
Well, now he'll get to
Doesn't
start right next to Logano. Guys, this is going to be insane.
2-car got a lot of damage, Vince.
It sure does, and Elliott immediately on the radio letting the team know that he has no oil pressure as well. So the plan is they just turned off the engine. They have some serious damage on the right side, worse than they thought initially, and no oil pressure. Elliott had initially indicated, let's don't lose a lap, guys, but as you can see, it's much worse than that.
Oil cooler busted. They can't continue.
That is really frustrating.
So you go from leading the championship and leading the race to probably going to finish somewhere around 24th or so. And
boy, Elliott's mad. Right now as a driver, he's sitting there thinking,